Hey traders, Nick Shaheen here looking at a whole bunch of tickers last week or this week, earlier in the week. I sent out a tweet saying give me your tickers and I'll do look up on it and I'll share all the answers with you. Here they are. So I figured I'd do it in the video, this way I don't have to spend more time writing it up. Sorry for the other ones that are not interested, but maybe there are some tickers that could be interested and you didn't even know. Alright, ABBV came out twice. I want to say right away that ABBV will probably be a wild one because of A, the nature of the business, and B, the fact that there's a virus. So fundamentals aside, this is charts. You be the judge on the fundamental side. To me, if I'm not long ABBV, this is not the place I start. And the simple reason is that, first of all, this is about the 50% retracement. So the easy work has been done. And it's headed into a pivot zone, meaning a place where they have fought over it before. Giant doji candle right there, big bounce right here, which was a big breakout here, and a big failure before. Clearly they love this level to fight over it for a while. I'm zooming back and it comes back into place. I'm going to go to weekly quickly, maybe. Okay, so now we see a better vision. This being 75, 76 was another pivot level that was a roof, and then they used it as a clear floor. You see that, right? You see the failure too before that. This is 5 years worth of data. And then they clearly went above it and defended it a few times, and then they lost the floor. I drew this a long time ago, a year ago, and I said if they lose this, then this will happen. This did happen and then some. This little tail right there at 64, 65, immediate rejection, immediate retest, immediate rejection again, twice retested. I mean, this is as big a test as we can do, right? So what is this orange line? This is where I would love to buy it if I was an investor in ABBV. But this is the point of control for the last 5 years. This is where most of the trading happened. But the important part, if I look left, it's a cluster. So this whole region is support. For this to be lost, there has to be massive problems in the world in general or in the stock. Whatever we saw is okay based on this. So buyable down here, up here, it's headed into a pivot. I would rather see them break out of it. So if I were to trigger anything, I'd say this one on the weekly would be a trigger. I'm going to go back to a daily. Boy, I can't do this with every stock. But anyway, I wouldn't buy it going into 82. That's my opinion. Unless I want to commit for a long term. It has momentum. If I'm long, I can stay long. I would sell some calls against my longs. All right, this is one of them. ABBV showed up 2 or 3 times. Okay, another one is AMD. All right, people in the chat room right now. So AMD, I love the stock. Don't care about the company, and from the sense that I don't love the company. I like the company, but it has been the best performer 2 years in a row. Even in 2018, in the S&P, entire S&P, this was the best stock from a math perspective. In 2018, when the stock market was falling, they closed up 50%. It was well off their highs, but up 50% versus down 15% for the whole market or whatever it was. I'll take that. So what am I looking at here? Technically, it's drawing out an inverse head and shoulders, which is bullish. So they failed at prior fail point, same concept as before, and they're trying to draw this side out. So if this market will continue up this week, coming week after Good Friday week, so this can happen. Okay, I wouldn't chase it until the breakout happens, but that depends on the personality. I'm not recommending anything here, by the way, okay, because this is up. I'm sharing the levels, and it's up to you to make your own decisions. And as far as a ideal situation, I would love to buy it on a dip. How big of a dip depends on the time frame. If I'm fast trader, I want small dips. So something around 47 should be bought. Longer time frame, maybe closer to 42. I'm going to go to a daily chart. Reset it. Okay, so ideally from a daily chart, I definitely would like to see a fall into the 30s to buy it with conviction. So how is, you're saying, well, you're crazy, you're never going to trade it. I did trade it, and recently in the chat room. By the way, down below in the link, if you're not already in the chat room, please join. It's free to try. So try for free, and then we'll talk price. So on the way down, when the VIX was a bazillion and the stock market was crashing and everybody was afraid, the thing to do was to sell puts in this thing. It paid $2 for the $22 put. $22 put, if not the 20, I think the 20, down here. So I collected, if I sold 10, $2,000 out of thin air for the privilege to buy it at $20. That's what actually happened. It actually happened. I sold those puts and posted in the chat room. These are the puts to sell. It was October puts and or July puts, because the first time I sold them, it double dipped lower even. Then you said, hey, I can do the same for July. Sold to you. So who's buying these? People who are protecting their stock at 20 or 22. So my only hook is to get long AMD at 20 or 22. I'll take it any day. All right, so this is the AMD statement. Fundamentally, it's all tied to Lisa Su. If she leaves, the CEO, that stock will get cut in half on the headline. It will break the stock. It doesn't mean it's going to break the company. She might be a genius, but if Apple can survive Steve Jobs' loss, any stock can survive anybody's loss. Well, maybe not Elon, but that's a different conversation. All right, AMD showed up a few times too. By that I mean many people ordered it. All right, so the VXX, somebody said the VXX, and then they talked about some sort of a backwardation statement. So the VXX is an ETN. It's not the VIX. And the VXX goes to 0. What? Yes. I'm going to show you something. So this is the VIX daily, right? And it's a 1 year. If I show you the VXX, it's going to look almost the same. Now the difference happens when we go out in time, 1 week. That's the VXX. It's designed to go to 0 because it's a note. It's an exchange traded note, ETN, not an ETF. Here's the VIX. 5 years. So the VIX mathematically should be around 15, 16, mathematically. It's been stuck at 12 for the longest time because of the Fed. So up at 90, that puts it into the the dot-com bubble. I'm sorry, the dot-com bubble was back there. The financial crisis. We saw higher levels, but I don't think we saw closes that are this high. In fact, look at this close on a quarter basis. So the monthly, it actually closed one day at 80 on a daily. So that's pretty high for a long period of time. So I don't know what they were asking. Okay, so what I'm looking at the VIX, I think they're pricing in lower prices in the future, which makes sense because this too shall pass. Whether it takes 3 months, 6 months, the VIX should fall. Technically, I shorted the VIX again in the chat room. Be there. And the VXX. Because eventually they're going to fall, correct? So the way to short it, we bought put spreads. And in fact, it's technically may have triggered a head and shoulder. And this is not my drawing. This was an actual tick in March, out of the blue, out of spec, down to the 30s. So I said, this is like kismet, right? So it's almost there. So here's my prediction. If we hit that level, when we hit that level, we're going to have some sort of a bad news in the market, and the stocks are going to take a tizzy, and this is going to bounce for the eventual dip again and losing that and then fall. So this inverse cup and handle is going to develop over time. What am I saying? I'm saying that this is going to hit this level, bounce, and then a fall again. That's my prediction. I'm going to draw it out, but I'm going to stop it. All right, by the magic of television, something like this. A big arc and another smaller arc to attack the same neckline, and eventually when that neckline gives way, then the VIX will fall back into line. What does that mean? We could dip again in the markets. I mean, the fundamentals are so bad right now. But anyway, we've got trillions of money raining on us from the government. All right, so I have a few stocks that I've been asked about that I haven't seen before, like VOO, VOO. Okay, whatever that is. Some sort of a dollar trade. All right, so daily, almost the same exact concept as ABBV. Too late to go long right here without seeing the outcome of this level. This has been pivotal for a long time, so there should be resistance here. If I were to trigger it, maybe above 265. It's got the internals are strong. If I wanted to get into a tighter time frame, if I were to short it, I think the 264 is going to find some resistance. Right now, on the shorter term, the bulls are in charge, but they're going to face resistance. That's my opinion. This cluster here is resistance. So if I'm not long, I would wait out a little bit. That's my opinion on VO. KO, I haven't talked about KO for a while. Whoa, wait, did we change? This is exactly the same chart, exactly the same comment. Too long, okay, so I would want too late to get long. I want to see it fail here like it's failing because it failed right there. I know it's got a gap. So if I were to buy it, I would buy the trigger above it. In fact, I'm going to put it in. So ideally, you want to dip towards 46 and it should find support and build another time to battle. And if you break it, then you target 55, but there's going to be a lot of resistance at 53. Why this is a point of control for this period of time. So this would be how I would trade KO. But that's interesting how it's close to VOO. Maybe that wasn't the dollar back there. Okay, so PEP. Same concept. Pepsi, I would put an alert here to chase it up there. Right now it's a rising wedge attacking a neckline. So, and the neckline has failed. It's an accident scene. It's a prior accident scene. Almost exactly the same concept. I want to see a dip and reattack of that neckline before I chase it. But I won't chase it before it breaks it. I mean, this is a good company. I don't know long term what it's doing. Same concept. Look, huge platform, overshoot. They lost it. They're back to that same platform. This orange line is the point of control by a long shot. So this is where they fought the most. So guess what? When they get to it, they're going to fight the most, and that means stall. Okay, that's my opinion. BRK. Who is BRK? I don't know them. Anyway, nothing compelling to chase it. I don't know anything about it, so you can do your homework on the fundamentals. It's as low as it's been in 5 years. Okay, so this is a monthly chart, so we're talking like eons. There was no reason to lose this. They defended it a couple of times here. They lost it a couple of times here, but on a closing basis, it's still holding. So if I look left, look where that line is. It's exactly this point right there. So if I were to say, okay, the floor is going to hold, this would be that floor. Unfortunately, on a quarterly basis, that's also the neckline for some sort of a head and shoulder-ish pattern that would bring down 800. Direct down to 800, no, there should be a level of support here at 1120 and here. I'm not calling for this, folks, but on a 3-month basis, on a closing quarterly basis, they better hold that floor. It looks like it should hold, but they better hold it. I don't know anything about it other than that. Fundamentals all on you. All right, MCD, McDonald's. I don't eat there, but you see all these stocks have bounced and they're going back into accident scenes. These are natural stall points. The market is rallying right now crazily, and it might overshoot higher. On a daily basis, it looks like the bulls want to take control, but they don't quite, frankly, have control completely. Check this out. That's a nice looking cup and handle bullish, in a bullish way. I'm going to pull an alert here. It would be interesting. In fact, it should be a little higher because even if it breaks out of this, I think it's going to stall here. So keep that in mind. In fact, I'm going to say here, and the alert would be to short it. I'm not going to go out and short it, but at least book profits. So, by the way, I'm using TradingView. It's a decent platform. They have a free version of it. There's a paid version. This is the paid version. I don't pay for it. They provide it for free. So there's my commercial for it. So 190 would be a stall zone. It was nice support, lost footing. When they come back to it, if somebody's stuck here, they might say, get me out. Big gap down here. No reason to get there without a trip up of sorts. That's McDonald's. So CMG wasn't on the list, which is pretty weird. Kind of looks like the same chart. You're going to get help from Kramer on that one. He just said it's going to 1,000. So fast. This is a more exciting stock. I hate the fundamentals. It's so expensive for a restaurant. But here's the tricky part, and this is important about CMG. Nobody asked about it, but I'm offering it anyway. So CMG is a comp stock, a restaurant that turns comps like you wouldn't believe, 11, 15%, whatever it is. Those are huge comps. I don't know what McDonald's are, but I'd be shocked if it's anywhere around 5. What is a comp? Is how you did this year versus last year in all of the existing stores. So any new stores they throw out. And what is an existing store? A store that's been open for about a year, because restaurants have a honeymoon period. The first 3 months are not usual sales. In most cases, sometimes it's longer, sometimes it's shorter. They get oh yay, we've got one in town, and high, and then they crash out of it. So they don't count these in the comps, because it'll be misleading. So they only take in the system. They take the ones that have been open at least 12, that have dropped out of the honeymoon period. So those are the comp stores. So it's a representative how really they did this year versus last year. Well, guess what? That ace disappeared when they had the food scare, right? When they started killing people, it did not kill people. When they started making people sick, they lost the comps. That's why the stock took so long to recover. But as soon as they started turning comps, that ace came back. And look at that, right? So guess what they lost? Comps. So I don't know why he's saying buy it and it's going to 1,000. I mean, I like the momentum stock, but the ace is gone. So they need a miracle to maintain this rally, in my opinion. So this area is going to be interesting to see. It's shortable. If it's anywhere near here, it's shortable. So on a pop, I would short it to short the market. I'm not recommending you short it, but I'm going to say shortable or book profits. How about that? Let's be positive. I'll put shortable. Yeah, misspelled it. That's okay. All right, so that's CMG. Freebie. Okay, we talked about AMD. We didn't talk about NVIDIA. Let me see how they look like. Similar price pattern. This one is more expensive than AMD. I know PE is cheaper. The AMD PE is outstanding, very expensive. But the AMD price per sales is half as cheap as this one. This is too expensive, in my opinion. They will both win over time. So it's a matter of finding the right entry point. The fact that they hated it for a long time, from here to here, and you couldn't get anybody to say buy it down here, scares me. That doesn't happen at AMD. AMD, whenever it falls, they say buy it. You can hear Nigerians and all of that. I love AMD, I love it. Up here, they all loved NVIDIA. Down here, they could spit on it. You can pay them to spit on it. And look left. Look left. Exactly these two peaks. Exactly these two peaks. So clearly, there's a point of interest. So I would not be shocked if they go through a period like this again in NVIDIA. I would not be shocked. I'm not calling for it. I wouldn't short it. There are plenty of support. Like this candle right here is tremendous. What is this? Weekly. So this is a weekly candle. So I can, look at this. I drew this box before this week happened, and it's inside this. So clearly this is an important box. And guess what? Since I have you on the phone, I'm going to do this. It's going to come back into play. It's an important box. And look, it matches up with this ledge and this. So, hey, I drew a smart box. And this is even a more impressive box in the sense where it's been in play more often. So it does have support. This candle is important. So I'm going to put an alarm here. Weekly doji. So then I'll look at the weekly chart and I'll probably find that candle. And it is a buyable dip on a short-term basis. So a fast trader would buy the dip onto that line right there. But if you lose it, then they're going to fill the gap down to here, which would be this yellow line. See, all the lines come back into play. All right, that's my thought on NVIDIA. Boy, this is going to be a long video. Gilead. I really have no opinion on Gilead from the fundamental. It's all based on virus and not virus. Descending RSI, ascending price. I don't like that, but I can't short it based on that. I just say it has to hold this level down here, 71, 72. And it looks like it wants to hold it. In descending wedge, if you got a good base, then it bounces. So if I'm long, I'll probably risk it a little bit longer. DocuSign, it's a disease, it's a virus ticker, right? Because everything is electronics. So I see the upside potential. I did trace it out. What the hell is this? So too much love for the sector, in my opinion, and I shorted Zoom based on that. up here, and then I said buy Zoom down here on the balance, and it was an immediate payout. So DocuSign, I went to Zoom. I need a reason. So up here, it's I missed it kind of a deal, and breakout with a question mark above here. Maybe I would chase it, but knowing that the target is here somewhere. So if I were to short the market, I would probably short this one. But I have no reason to short it. So it's whether I want to buy it up here or not. It's not an obvious point of entry. How about that? For me, net. Okay, so it lost a ledge here and it's playing out. It probably will be buyable around 20 because it has prior support here. This is a 20. Let's put it this way, the best way to say it. Falling into 20, it should find support. How about that? Okay, absolute support is at 18-ish because of this. The whole region should be supportive. So it should start finding support. Don't know what's going on with Cloudflare. Shouldn't it be rising? Cloudflare? I don't know what's going on. Why is it not? Okay, so CCC. I don't know who that is. It wants to break out. I would chase it after this, but caution because it could fail at that. So 22 would be a better entry point, telling me that it's breaking out. So they pushed, they're consolidating, they might push again towards 24. But it's, higher lows, neckline, it could go the other way as well. And if it does, buyable around 1950. That is a very viable level. Because look at this candle right here, candle right here. So it's a contention, level of contention. There is a gap down here, but anyway, that's my opinion on this stock. I don't know what this is. LVGO. I think I just talked to somebody about it. Yep. Jared, I think it was. Okay. If I were to say one thing about LVGO, Jared, he's not the one that asked about it. Somebody else asked about it, but I talked to Jared, and I know he owns it. So check this out. Follow the break of either sides of this one. Maybe that one up here. That's LVGO. That's all I got to say. I don't know the company, but short term, this is a 2-hour chart. That's what I would do for LVGO. Ooh, Netflix. Dang. All right, see how every region gets tight and then it breaks out. So for Netflix, I would chase the break of the regions. So something like this versus, some people like to draw them like that. Okay, in this case, then they would fall down here, maybe do this. The Disney news should have caused it problems. So Netflix, I can't believe they're not out saying, hey, because of COVID, everybody's free this month. How many of these free ones will stick? A lot. I don't have Netflix, so maybe I sign up for free and try it out and then stick. I'm not going to cancel the $9, whatever it is. Is it $20? I don't know what it is. So the stock, I would chase these two lines. Enough said. DPZ, that's a virus stock, right? Ooh, almost exactly the same picture, right? So the same concept. I would chase it above here on a breakout. And if not, it will fade down to here. But same concept if you draw it out, just like Netflix. Higher lows knocking on the roof. What are we looking at? EXEL. Excelsis. So you can chase it above here. And it could fade into 17 and it's buyable. Into 1650 it's also buyable. So this was a good test, right? Everything was falling off a cliff. So as it fades here, so maybe, ideally, they do this. They draw some sort of a cup and handle if you want, a neckline. What's going on? Okay, so it fell, right? And then if it's falling now, they do this. They come back to it, and they break above it. Then they do this to the tune of that much. So now that's a cup and handle of sort. That's what would happen with this one. That's the ideal situation. So buyable on a dip. Otherwise, I would wait for the breakout of that neckline. KPTI. Whew. What is this? Yeah. So I can't chase it up here. This is a, look at that. Yeah, spike, whatever that is. What is this? Therapeutics. Okay, so it's a virus thing. If you know your stuff about viruses, then you can buy it and plug your nose. Otherwise, it's buyable closer to 17-ish, 17 and a half, in my opinion. Better than up here, because they're going to need some oomph to go above this. That's my opinion. Okay, did that. EHTH, I don't think we did that. Oh, eHealth. Not buyable here. This is a shortable level, and through, okay, as it goes through this zone to 121, it's into a lot of resistance. Again, this is a virus thing plus earnings soon. So you make the call on that. I don't know about that, but I'm telling you from the perspective of technical aspects, this is headed into a pivot zone, and pivots are usually not easy to break. So if I draw a line in the middle, you know, they're pivoting around that. They could break out of it, but they're going to need a strong push for that. Regeneron. Oh, gosh. Yeah, not an obvious point of entry for me by any means, any shape, for any reasons. Oh, yeah. Well, this is a weekly chart. So tell me why this time it's different than that time. So know your level and know that you're into tough areas. So whatever happened here in 2017, we're at it almost identically, actually more extended. So eventually they will break out and go to 650 or whatever. But I'm going to put a trigger here. So up here, it's called, to me, THTH. It's too high to chase for me, my taste and my knowledge. I don't know much about the stock. And too hot to short. So this is where you say, I missed it. Uber. Whoops, we got to go lower than weekly. Nope, that's not it. 1 day. Ah, 1 day. Okay, there we go. So Uber, my thesis on Uber is that over the decades, it's going to become an Amazon-like company. This virus kills its business. But eventually, quote, its business is going to be not people transport. They already have like a dozen of them. They're going to be people transport, freight, education, finance. It's going to be everything, like Amazon. Wherever they can get money, they're going to get money. All they need is the platform, and they have it. They are on every phone on the entire planet. It's hard to mess that up. Okay, so what is so evident here? Look at this line. Holy crap. Okay, so to be safe, I'm going to go to this line. I wouldn't start buying it until it breaks this line for a trade. But check this box. So here, this box, I'm going to send it backwards in time and forwards in time. Okay, I didn't send it forwards in time or backwards in time long enough. 280 and 90. There we go. So this was a box that I did here that extends this way and extends that way. So it's if you eyeball it, it's like a Fibonacci ratio. I'm going to say 50%-ish right now. And let's see, this is 50%. That green, there are no coincidences. That line right there is 50% right there. What does that mean? It's halfway back up from this collapse. So see, this collapse, halfway back up. They recovered it, they fell, they came back to it. They're attacking a neckline. It's a pivot zone, it's the 50%, it's a neckline, so it's where the decision is going to be made. We could wake up to a woof, and we would have missed it. There's going to be a resting point around 32.5 because of this cluster. So if you miss it here, you can buy the dip off of that because there's going to be one. Another important candle is this one right here. What is this? 34. Perfect. This matches up, see, with this cluster. That's Uber. Long term, it's a plug your nose and buy it. I can't believe I missed this. I can't believe I missed this. I would have sold puts to no end in this. I just missed it. Oh my God. Okay. Whew. MFA. Whoa. I don't know. What am I going to say to that? Yeah. Broken stock for sure. I mean, this is like, yeah, there's nothing to be said. 1 minute. Okay, on a 1 minute chart, it's into resistance. I don't know anything about it. There's nothing technical longer term I can say about it. Shorter term, it's heading into a lot of resistance here. So do your homework, see if they're going out of business or not. Pays. What is that? 120. I'm changing the time frames because to see if I can get any smarts pay sign. What is that? What did they do? I don't know. If it's anything with hiring people, nobody's working, folks. So from a technical perspective, this is a really tough line. 9-ish, plus or minus 50 cents. Look at it. It was a roof. They took it out. They defended it with conviction. Then they fell apart in conviction, and now they're back at it. It's not going to be easy going through it. And if they do, this line is even worse, 1050. So if I'm long from here, I'm booking or selling calls. Covered calls, covered calls, covered calls. Not naked calls. Zynga. I can't even remember last time I looked at Zynga. I don't even know what they do anymore. Gaming? All right, so no reason to chase it here. It has to break through here, but if it does break through here, it's a cup and handle-ish neckline. I'll say CH just for fun. It's going to be $8 maybe. Ideally, it should be as deep as this, but this is pretty wonky, so I'll give it half of it. How about this? How about this as a target? 740. At least, because that is, wow. Yay, no. All right, I love it. No, wait, spit on it. Did I get everybody? Oh my God. Did we do Nat? Nat? Yes. VXX. Yeah. I know I'm missing somebody. There's no way. Anyway, so these are the ones I have. 31 minutes. Holy crap. Sorry about that, folks, but you could fast forward. Anyway, thanks. Bye.